What's going on, guys? Coach Colin podcast with Coach Colin, the coach who is here for disenfranchised men, men who feel like they weren't taught properly, men who feel like masculinity is under attack, men who feel. Trying to come up with a catchphrase. That was too long, though. That's too long. I basically wanted to go over something. I'm trying to keep these episodes a little shorter. But I was talking with my brother today. I went over to see my brother, and we were talking about Kevin Samuels. Of course, that's why your boy's dressed like this. We were talking about Kevin Samuels, but more so we were talking about relationships. I was talking about my wife. He was talking about, women around him. But even more so than that, we were talking about how guys aren't taught anything. Like, one thing he brought up, he was like, no one taught me how vital it was to be a provider in a woman's eyes. Like we were talking, like he was saying how, you can love and be all lovey-dovey all you want, but there's that other component of providing where you actually provide shelter, food, money, all of that stuff. And I actually had it the other way, because like if that's missing, it's a big thing that's missing from your relationship. And I had the other side of things where I thought there was only the providing of like the money, the food, the shelter, all of that stuff, and my wife set me straight on that. And it was just funny how we both brothers, same family, and we both had different aspects of what it was to like take care of somebody, or like what was vital, and I didn't realize how he realized how vital the love was, and I didn't realize how vital like the love and the affection and the touching and all of that. I didn't realize how vital that was, until I met my wife. And my wife was like, like I haven't always made so much money, but I would always be there in that sense. And she's like, that's providing. That is providing, and I didn't know that. I thought that was just, hugging, kissing, affection. Everybody needs that. So I figured that was just like a natural thing in a relationship. But that's or like not a natural thing, but like a smaller, insignificant thing, And yeah, she set me straight on that, and she made me realize that that's actually like a big thing. Like it's really, really needed. But what we were talking about in our conversation, my brother and I, is this: how guys aren't taught anything. That was the real thing. Like how we're just not taught stuff. He was going over how like he's like, they don't teach us anything about marriage, and that's it's so true in schools. It's like a huge, like he was saying, it's a huge part of life is marriage and relationships, and we're taught nothing about it in school. We're taught about algebra. And the way he put it, he was like, who the fuck needs to know about the War of 1812? And it's so true. It's like you need a little bit of history, but you need that relationship stuff more. Taxes, finance, buying a house, like all this stuff, like building shit. They used to build stuff in schools. I know people who went to schools and you actually had shop class. I mean, they're like in Ontario. I'm from Ontario. There's a whole thing around this teacher who's like a shop teacher, and he's walking around with like huge tits, like fake. He put on fake tits and he walks around with them. But I was more taken back. I'm like, they have shops still? I'm like, I had no type of shop class in my school. Maybe I was just so bad that they just didn't let me know about it, because I was a very bad kid. But yeah, we're just not taught anything, our dads. And then we were talking about our fathers, and it's like I brought up the point of like, well, our fathers didn't even know. They didn't know how to be a proper husband, father, because nobody shows them. You figure, what I think is that, grandfathers, great grandfathers, they just figure you're going to learn by example. Nobody actually sits you down. As far as I know, I wasn't blessed enough to have a parent that did that, but nobody sits you down and says, like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to be. No one sits you down and says any of that. So Yeah, it was just like a little realization that we had while I was talking. And it just brings me even more towards like what I'm trying to do with this podcast. Let me adjust this screen a little bit. Get, get my full big head in there. Nobody shows us. Nobody says that that's important to know. You know, relationships, like how to be a husband, how to be a good husband. Like my mom never said like that's what a good husband is. But it's like she didn't know cuz she never had a good husband, you know? Nobody like like I think I was lucky enough that my wife, it seems from what she puts forth in our marriage now, it's like she was taught, and maybe she wasn't taught fully, like maybe she wasn't sat down and said, but she had a good enough example that now she's like this really good wife. And it's just like a weird thing. Like we don't get taught nothing, nothing, you know? And you can go into the conspiracy bag of how they just want workers and that's why they teach us the stuff they do and that's why standardized tests are the way they are because they just want to pump us into the workforce so we can keep the economy going. And all that's true too. But yeah, we need teaching. Kevin Samuels was a big, like I've been watching Kevin Samuel videos. I mean, that's why I'm dressed like this. Like this is 100% because of Kevin Samuels I'm dressed like this. And I know if Kevin sees me, I know this tie's not tied right, but I'm learning Godfather. I can't even how do you do this? See, nobody showed me this. Nobody showed me this. Nobody taught me how to tie a tie. My wife tied my tie. I can't even get that last button. How you get that last button? Does anybody do that button up? I'm messing it up now. I'm messing it up. My bad. My bad, y'all. Okay. But nobody shows you this stuff. You know what I mean? This looks ridiculous. Hold on. I'm going to get this. Oh, you're going to see me in real time learn something right now. Bang. Got it. Got it. Boom. And then down a little bit. Is that how that works? Open. Is that how that works? I'm trying. I'm trying, guys. But yeah, like that's what this podcast is about. Like if it's really about anything, like I'm gonna have a friend of mine, Rob. He's gonna be on the podcast pretty soon. He's a business coach, um, great father, martial artist, great example of a man, and he's gonna be on here soon. And I hope to get my brother on too. My brother Chris. I want my brother on here so we can talk about this more, like expand on that. But it was like a little conversation that we had, and it was just like so true, man. I don't know how you guys feel or how you feel out there, but I don't know if you were taught anything. I remember I was in my men's group. I was in a men's group that I don't host. I'm in it. Um, and this one guy, he was talking about how he works with his hands. He like builds cabinets, and I guess there's a element of carpentry in there. And but long story short, he works with his hands, and he thought it was like so vital to work with his hands because his dad showed him how to work with his hands. And I was like, wow, like that's wild. Like your dad showed you how, and now you make your money. Like that's how vital being taught stuff by your dad is. It's like he taught him how to work with his hands, and now the guy's like in his 40 and he works, makes money, provides for his family with his hands. It's like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy the impact that a fatherly lesson can put on your life, you know? And now he's going to pass that to his son, you know? Man, my father he passed some good genetics on, but also like addictive personality. That's what he passed on to me. He passed me on some addictive personality. But yeah, that was just a trip. And then it's like, like my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, like Like you see that I see them talk all the time. They'll be like, they'll be talking about something. I barely understand some of it. They'll be talking about like a hitch, like or building a shed, and he'll be like, yeah, you did. He'll like check on his son. He'll be like, you did this and this. He'll be like, yeah, I used this and then I did this. He's like, yep, that's how you do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like, it seems so simple or trivial when they're talking about it, but the impact that it has, it's crazy. Like back to my brother-in-law. He actually, like, I popped my tire and he had to come. Shout out another Chris, thank you so much. But he came through and he patched my tire for me. And I felt so useless in the whole thing because I didn't know what to do. And he did. And that's because he was shown. Like he learned. And I learned from him. But that's not how it should have went. I should have learned from my dad. Like my dad should have been there. Maybe not there at the time because he'd be old as fuck right now. Maybe not at this time, but like when I was younger, he should have been able to show me like, hey, this is how so sometime you might pop a tire. This is what you have to do in order to do it. It's a thing, man. It's a thing. The lessons of a father, what a father could teach you. I say it all the time at the end of these podcasts. I am a men's coach and I do have a deep passion to help people. I'm not just saying that. You're not going to message me and I'm going to tell you to book a consultation and then you're going to go to a website and see that I charge $900 an hour. That's not what's going to happen. If you message me, when I have the time, I will respond. I'm down to talk some things out with people who need to talk things out. I am here to help. I have a genuine want and need to help people, to help men, women too. But I might defer you to my wife because my wife knows a little more about being a woman and what you guys go through. But I will talk to you. I will help you. My email is Coach Colin number 3. So Coach Colin 3 at gmail.com. My Instagram handle is I am Coach Colin at I am Coach Colin. And I just wanted to put that out there. I'm going to start putting that out at the end of every episode just to let you guys know that is a real thing. That is a real offer. And that's the end of the episode, man. Men, stay strong. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't give up. Do the things you know you should do and do the thing that your heart is telling you to do. And operate with integrity. I'm out. Peace.